All right. Wonderful. So we're going to get started because it is a cold January day, and the more that you're able to know about how to encourage your student to get involved in the impact that can have on their collegiate career and their wellness and their overall thriving at Pitt, the better. And so we hope that this information gets back to your student via you. I'm excited to introduce our first presenter of a whole team of presenters. Dr. Devon Vincent Bryan. We're so excited to have you. I'm going to turn the virtual stage over to you. A reminder that the Q&A is open. The chat is not, but the Q&A is. And so you can drop anything in there, and we're ready.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and welcome to this family webinar. Today, we'll be discussing the Department of Student Involvement and how we empower students through programs, leadership, and community. We are committed to helping our students find their place, purpose, and passions, both on and off campus. As Summer said, my name is Dr. Devon Vincent Bryan. It's a new title. I'm trying it on. And I use the he series of pronouns. I proudly serve as a director of student involvement, and I bring 18 years of experience in supporting students both in and outside the residence hall, on and off campus, and those who choose to participate in Greek letter organizations. I am joined by members of my department's leadership team, and they'll introduce themselves shortly. On screen are four of our aims today. We'll talk about why involvement matters. We'll review some key offerings that your student may choose to explore while they're with us. We'll share a few tips along the way about how you might support your student. And of course, we'll open the floor to questions, both in the Q&A, as Summer mentioned, or other ways you choose to engage. Our department is composed of four core components: our central office, our campus programs, leadership development, and our student organization and advising staff, and they're housed in what we call the source. Our leadership team is composed of dedicated professionals, each of whom are focused on enhancing different areas of student involvement. Our department is supported by a full range of full-time, part-time, and temporary staff. However, as you can see from this chart, we also have about 200 student leaders, student workers, and graduate assistants, and we've intentionally positioned students in the driver's seat. We invite them to train, to empower, to lead and develop programs peer-to-peer in their development, and that is all with great intention. As I also shared, our primary aim is to empower students to discover their place, purpose, and passion. And we support that through leadership development, through the advising that they receive through student organizations, and by offering a robust array of campus programs, all of which are rooted in supportive and inclusive environments. So, you've heard a little bit about me and what I do. I'd like to yield to the two other associate directors who are with us today to introduce themselves, starting with David.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Day. I'm the Associate Director for Student Organizations and Advising here at the University of Pittsburgh. We have an office on the third floor of the William Pitt Union, and I oversee a team of about 12 professional staff that help to manage the daily activities of our student organizations here at the University of Pittsburgh. And I will yield the floor to Lynn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynn Miller. I use she, her pronouns. I serve as the Associate Director for Leadership Development. I've been here at Pitt for 17 years, working in different capacities of student involvement.
All right, so that's some of our team members with us today. And our fourth Associate Director, Andrew Skelly, oversees our campus programs office. He is joining us most recently from Residence Life, with experience across multiple institutions, and leads a robust portfolio. I'll be covering some of his content today. So this slide highlights why involvement is important. It furthers success and it deepens well-being. First, research from the National Survey for Student Engagement shows that students who participate in co-curricular activities are twice as likely to persist in their academic journeys. This underscores the importance of finding community and the purpose outside of the classroom. Second, data from the National Association of College and Employers indicates that students who engage in campus activities are 22% higher in their placement rates after graduation. Employers are looking and deeply value leadership, communication, teamwork, and these are skills that our students gain through a variety of the programs that we'll be discussing today. And finally, engagement is a powerful tool for mental health. According to the Journal for College Student Development, involvement on campus life reduces loneliness and improves mental health outcomes. It helps students to build connections and sense of belonging, which are critical for emotional well-being. These benefits collectively underscore why our department prioritizes student involvement and why we encourage every student to take the first step towards getting involved. These are just some of the ways our students may choose to connect, be it through their personality, their major, or interests, and the associate directors and I will expand on these over the next few slides.
Thanks, Devon. I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about some of our student organizations and the belonging that they help us to create. I've been at Pitt for almost 2 years now, and came from other local institutions, and my previous institution was much smaller, and so I often find myself trying to talk to people about just the scope of our student organization portfolio. Having over 800 student organizations, it does obviously it's a lot. It's very exciting to us, and we're extremely proud of our student organization growth and the offerings that our institution is able to provide. And so we'll talk a little bit more about who those 800 student organizations are and the 15 categories that we use to help us manage them. But most importantly, I want to talk about what it is the student organizations do. And I recently heard student organizations described as learning labs. And I think that that's a great description of them, because they are tangible learning opportunities for student leaders. They are real world experiences. I often talk to students about I've always heard the number one skill employers are seeking is a candidate's ability to talk to other people. And student organizations provide these real world opportunities for students to interact not only with their peers, but to all the wider university community and local community leaders. The work that they're doing is really tremendous, and we work a lot on high level student organization events and activities, and some of our groups are doing massive things on a global scale, and that's extremely exciting for our students and our institution. And our student leaders are really incredible, and they are able to talk about these real experiences as they're coming out, as they're interviewing for grad school, as they're interviewing for internships and job opportunities. So it really does provide real world experience. The other thing that we're extremely proud of is the mechanisms in place to empower students to start their own student organizations if they don't see an offering that they feel is aligned with their interests. And so we do have a pretty strong process to help students form their own organizations if they feel like something is missing. And so, through those involvement opportunities, that's how we see students feel like they belong here at the University of Pittsburgh. They're developing their identity, so they're exploring their own interests and all the opportunities that a major urban campus provides, and they're discovering their purpose. And it's tied in a lot with their academic pursuits. And I'll talk a bit more about that on the next slide. But since this is a parent call, we did want to highlight some family tips, which is obviously encouraging your student to get involved, to seek out different organizations, and to explore those. We do host involvement fairs that students can attend is one of the ways that students get connected. So obviously trying out different groups, seeing where you feel comfortable. And it is tough sometimes for students to put themselves out there, but obviously everyone is in the same boat, discovering a path for themselves. If students need help discovering student organizations, we have an app called Experience Pitt that hosts all of our student organization information, and the students can download it and log on, and they can access and search our database of those student organizations. They can search by keywords, find out what they're interested in, find contact information for the groups that they're interested in. So Experience Pitt is the platform that we we use to manage our student organizations. And there's a lot of information on Experience Pitt that can really help connect students. We also encourage students to use their social media platforms to search for and follow Pitt student organizations, departments, alumni. Obviously, it's a great way to track what's going on. And a lot of times that's how student organizations are promoting their events and things that are going on is on those social media platforms. So we're here to help students find their people and their purpose. And if we can go to the next slide, I'll just talk about how we do that with some of our student organizations. So all of our student organizations fall into a variety of categories. You'll see they're listed on the left-hand side. As a rule of thumb, if I'm talking to a new student, I would encourage them to attempt to join 3 organizations at least while they're here. And this is just my advice, but I always suggest that students join at least one organization which is academic and related to their field. Of all of our schools, you're looking at basically anywhere between 20 and upwards of potentially 50 organizations related to an academic department. So there's many opportunities within those departments for student organizations directly related to an academic major or an element of that academic major. The other student organizations, a lot more based on students' interests, obviously groups like advocacy groups, arts and literature, ethnic and cultural. We have a lot of club sports and opportunities for recreation, governance and honorary organizations, professional and service, special interest, spiritual and faith-based. So you can see there's a lot of ways that we divide them up, and a lot of groups kind of overlap on some different categories. But if students can take the time to explore their interests, search Experience Pitt, pursue the things that really catch their ear or things that they're intrigued by, really help students to connect. You can also see there on the slide the breakdown between undergraduate and graduate student organizations. A good chunk of our student organizations are related to fraternity and sorority life. So we have Interfraternity Council, which oversees some of the fraternities, most of the fraternities. The National Pan-Hellenic Council oversees our historically Black fraternities and sororities, and the Pan-Hellenic Council oversees the majority of sororities. And they are the social fraternity and sorority organizations. There are also honorary and academic related Greek letter organizations which fit under the academic and honorary categories. Club sports is kind of the last area I just want to touch on. We have 60 club sports. We break them up into 2 main categories of competitive and recreational. Competitive club sports, they're traveling the country. They're playing high-level competitive athletic competitions against very similar institutions. So, for example, our club volleyball team is playing Ohio State and Penn State club volleyball team. We've found that our club sports are playing at a very high level. There's also some club sports that play at a recreational level. They tend to stick more locally, organize pickup leagues and things like that. And so I have heard students who are interested in playing a sport, but don't necessarily want to play it at a high level that some of our club sports are at, and they choose to play at more of a recreational level. But we have some really high level competitive club sports, and not all of the varsity offerings at Pitt are available widespread. So, for example, ice hockey and rugby. We saw men's lacrosse, for example, their club sports. There is no varsity sport option, so they are literally the top, athletic team here at the institution. They're just not an NCAA sponsored sport. They're a competitive club sport. And in total, we have 811 total registered student organizations. We work with them day in, day out to help them achieve their mission, their purpose, help them do the things they want to do. If it's competing in an athletic contest in California, or if it's shooting a rocket into the sky in Texas, or doing an engineering project in Belize, we're helping our student groups with all of those things. And it's an extremely exciting place to be, and we're excited for your students to join us. And I think we're ready for the next slide.
So Pitt offers, as David just spoke to, a range of programs and traditions to help students feel connected and involved throughout the year. So let's take a look at just a couple of notable touch points. Welcome Week is the kickoff to the student experience. It offers a full schedule of activities designed to help new students connect, explore, and feel at home. We also have our very own radio station, WPTS Radio. You can listen to it right now on the internet if you'd like. And WPTS hosts a number of showcases throughout the year. It's a great way and a great example to get a sense of a vibrant student-run media source. It gives students a chance to discover new music, to get involved in broadcasting, or to simply just enjoy the energy. The Pitt Program Council hosts late night evenings, concerts, and wellness activities. Typically, they're fun, low pressure ways for students to meet people, to relax outside the classroom, and again, a key point of involvement. And then arts initiatives includes things like free museum tickets and arts encounters, making cultural and creative access regardless of budget. What ties it all together is that all these programs are designed to be safe, inclusive, and social. Running year round, there is always something to be a part of. One of the most exciting aspects of campus programs is that these offerings, yes, can be one-offs, but are often pathways for personal and professional development and growth. Students can start their journey by simply attending an Artful Wednesday concert. It's casual, welcoming, it's a great way to experience something new. From there, they may decide to join the Pitt Program Council. We have one of 9 committees to choose from, where they can help plan events and contribute their ideas. With growth and confidence, they could host their own radio show, using their voice to connect with other students and express their creativity. Eventually, they may take on a leadership role, perhaps apply to be on the executive committee of the Pitt Program Council and help shape student experiences for others. At any stage, campus programs offers opportunities to connect, reflect, and grow. It's not just about attending events, it's about discovering who you are and who you want to become.
Okay, so developing leaders, excuse me, my office, the Office of Leadership Development, plans programs and activities to help your students build the soft skills, right? Those soft skills that they will need both on their time here on campus, in life, in their careers. So when I'm talking about soft skills, those are things like communication that we mentioned earlier, problem solving, delegation, motivation, accountability, and confidence. Our office operates on, I would say, 2 philosophies. Number one, leadership is for everyone. So whether your student is a seasoned student leader, maybe has served on organizations or in leadership capacities in high school or at a previous institution, or if your student's just starting out, maybe they weren't as involved, but they're looking to get involved now. Our office and our programs and activities are for everyone. We also believe that leadership is action, not just a title. So you don't have to have been the president of an organization or a vice president or something like that. You just show leadership through the things you do, the actions you make. So students who maybe could serve on a committee and help plan an event, do community service in the community, or just advocate for a cause that they truly believe in. Those are all ways of showing leadership. So those are 2 of our kind of operational philosophies that we use as we are creating our programs and inviting students in. We do several programs throughout the year, but I'm just going to highlight 2 of our signature events here. You can see on the screen. Our Panther Leadership Academy is probably our most well-known and popular program that we do. It is a 20-week program for students. We split it up into 2 10-week sections. So they would do 10 weeks in one semester. The classes meet once a week for 2 hours, and students walk through leadership development modules, learning those soft skills I mentioned earlier. Those sessions are led by 2 peer facilitators who have already completed the program and 1 staff facilitator. It is not too late to join for this semester. So if you're student is interested, you can click on that QR code that'll take you directly to the Panther Leadership Academy website, where there's more information about that program there, but also the registration. For this spring semester 2026, registration does end next Tuesday, the 20th. And the section 1 available is Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. If that doesn't work for your student's schedule this semester, no problem. We do this program every semester and they can start with us next fall. The second program I wanted to highlight is our Panther Leadership Summit, another one of our signature programs. If that 20-week commitment seems a lot for your student, then this is the perfect opportunity to get some leadership development. It is a one-day conference held here in the William Pitt Union right on campus. This year, it will be held on Saturday, February 28th. That link there, that green QR code will take you straight to our Panther Leadership Summit website. The registration link is there. That does not close until later in February. So there's some opportunities, some time to create those opportunities. The Panther Leadership Summit, during that day, students will hear from TED Talk style speakers and have the opportunities to kind of choose your own adventure and select breakout sessions that they would like to go to. So another one of our popular programs. If your student is interested in acquiring a leadership role, we have lots of them. A great way to start in leadership by obtaining a role is through our student organizations, which David mentioned earlier. The list is unlimited almost here at Pitt. There are so many opportunities. So the three things I have listed here are just some examples. We have our resident assistant positions in residence life, our new student ambassador positions through our new student programs office. If your student is involved with leadership development, we have leadership positions also for students. So if your student is not sure where to start, our staff, any of us on the screen here, are some great resources to encourage them to come visit us. So we'd be more than happy to help them figure out where their leadership journey needs to start, whether it's with attending some programs or if they want to get involved with those roles, we can get them connected as well. Some tips for you. Just encourage exploration. I mentioned a few different opportunities. Student organizations in itself, as David said, there's so many different categories and so many opportunities to really explore their interests. Community service through our Pitt Serves office and other offices on campus. There's some great ways to get connected to the Oakland community and beyond. Student employment, you might not think of that as a leadership opportunity, but a lot of our student employment roles will offer some leadership capacities for your student. Another tip is if your student seems kind of stuck, maybe ask them, where do you want to grow next? That will give them the opportunity to kind of really assess what their strengths are and areas to improve upon. And once they kind of figure that out, encourage them to come see our staff. We'd be more than happy to help them figure out where their journey takes them and what resources they need on campus. Next slide, please. So many of the soft skills that I mentioned that we work towards, there's a reason for it, right? Devon mentioned earlier, NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers. They've identified 8 career competencies that employers want to see. And as you can see from that list of 8 competencies, a lot of those are skill sets that your student can acquire either through our leadership development programming or also through their involvement in student organizations or many of our other activities. Our Career Center and our outside of the classroom curriculum also closely connect to these career competencies. So there's some overlap and overlay between our departments as we work together to support your students. And we just really encourage co-curricular involvement. That's really going to help make your students' resume pop. It really helps tell their story, right? So employers are going to be able to see on their resume that they went to school, that they majored in a certain area, and they're going to understand sort of that part of your student's collegiate journey. The co-curricular tells employers what they were doing, how they were utilizing their time outside of the classroom. So really helps your student really grab those jobs and become really well-rounded. Next slide.
So, as families, as the team has been reiterating, your influence is incredibly powerful. And that's even when your students don't say that it is, right? Don't say it out loud. You play a key role in encouraging their engagement and their growth during this critical time. So, first, I'd offer to ask open-ended questions. So, instead of something like, "Did you go to any events this week?" Yes, no, I don't know, there's nothing. Try, "What's something that interests you that you heard about on campus?" Right? They're getting a lot of information. Our student affairs newsletter, flyers, posters, word of mouth, direct invitations. Just knowing that what they're curious about is really helpful. It opens the door to a meaningful conversation and it shows genuine curiosity. Second, encourage your students to try something new, even if it's something that's outside their comfort zone. Remind them that it's okay not to love everything that they try. The point is simply to explore. To, let's normalize the changing of directions. Students may join a club and then realize it's not their right fit, and that's okay. There's 811 of them. It's a part of figuring out who you are and what matters to them. Your support to help them reduce the pressure that they might feel to stick with something, even if it doesn't serve them, is really important. And then finally, celebrate. There is always something to celebrate as you move through the transfer or new student experience. Going to that first meeting or talking to someone new, just going, right, is moment to pause and to celebrate their choice, their effort, and their energy. Those moments are huge, especially for students who are still figuring out their way. These small gestures of encouragement from you and others make a really big difference for our students. It boosts their confidence and their willingness to engage. So there are a few resources that we've put on screen. Some of them are within our office and our department. Some are outside of that. David talked a lot about the source and the organizations. Pitt serves. Just this upcoming Monday, we'll be gathering several hundred students to engage in an MLK Day of Service work. Lynn leads our leadership development area. So many of our students choose to live with us. I think the last count, it was 90% of our first year class choose to live within residence. There's a direct bridge between what they choose to do co-curricular and the vocational work that happens after, so the Career Center. And many of those offices I've shared so far are all located within the William Pitt Union. So encourage them to walk in, stumble around, get lost, say hello, ask for help. We'll direct them. And then Thrive at Pitt. Not housed within the division, but is a larger university framework that talks about the multiple dimensions of wellness that we want our students to have exposure to. And that means some of the physical pieces or their mental health, their physical bodies, but also their financial well-being. So encouraging them to even search that tagline, Thrive at Pitt, and see some of the programs that exist to support their entire holistic student experience. So this slide embodies some of our most important messages, and ultimately it's that every Panther belongs. There's a place for every Panther at Pitt. And this applies to whether that they are new to the college journey, whether they're a first year stepping onto campus for their very first time, whether they are a transfer student navigating a new environment or a commuter balancing both on campus, classwork, and life. Everyone belongs. It doesn't matter if they've already joined several organizations or still exploring what's available to them. We are here to help support them every step of the way. And I'd like to share a quote that we pulled from one of our surveys. It says, I didn't join anything my first semester. Uh, I finally went to one event and I found my people. I think that's one of the places we pulled our missions from, finding your people. It just takes one event, one organization, one point of connection to build community. And as families and supporters, your support makes that difference. Encourage your students to engage in their own way, big or small, large scale events, or more intimate ones. There is no right way to get involved. It's just about finding what's meaningful for them. It's about taking that very first step. With that, I've made our contact information available to you beyond today. All of us stand ready to support the experiences, the exploration, and what lies ahead for your students as they serve and work with us. And with that, I'd like to open the floor to any questions that may have come in or any tips that we might offer. Thank you all. And with that, I yield to Summer and then open the floor.
Awesome. Thank you all. Such good information. The Q&A is open. We definitely have minutes to answer questions, discuss. So I loved the learning labs. David, I'm going to steal that. I like that a lot.
Such a hard thing to encapsulate what students get out of student organization leadership positions, and I just think that's such a that phrase seems to grab everyone's ear because that's maybe it's the scientific nature of it, but um, it's definitely a laboratory.
Yeah, I just felt like my brain was like, that makes so much sense, but I've never used that phrase for that before. So I liked that. I also want to know, team, when that survey came in that a student said they found their people, were you just like running around the office like, oh, right? Just make, yes, just like all the love.
Copy paste. We've done it.
Oh, that, yeah, that was like such a feel good. That's exact, yes. Uh, yeah. All right, we've got two. Michelle sends, thank you so much for very informative. Appreciate all you do. Thank you. Yes, lots of love for this team. So we appreciate that feedback. And now we have a question. Reading the question statement, I'm reading about so many students who haven't found their tribe, their people. What are RAs doing to check on kids who are lonely and anxious and not comfortable going to events?
Yeah, I recognize I no longer work in residence life, but I did for 6 years here, and had the pleasure of overseeing our programmatic and curricular approaches. And so I'll give you some of the things that we did in that time. My colleagues Amanda and others can expand in another webinar or simply by reaching out to reslife@pitt.edu. A few things is that we pay strong attention to programmatic attendance, right? We do, particularly in our residence hall, know the programs that our students attend, and then we audit those we miss, right? And that might look like an individual knock on the door by your RA, a ping online, or an email. When that persists, right, and our RAs might not be, maybe they're missing each other, maybe their class schedules aren't lined up, and that knock is while they're in class or vice versa. That information rolls right up to the residence director, right, and they make it a point to the issue isn't that students are going to events. The what the aim is that we have points of connection, that they know that they're welcomed, that they know what their options are, and that they feel connected, right? So when an RA is unable to make that point of connection, the professional staff in the building, which is often a master's degree holding individual with years of experience, also takes a look at that and will work with that student, staff member, and others to build a plan of outreach and connection. And we really listen for what if the needs are being met elsewhere, right? Perhaps they're not going to residential programs because they've met folks on the Greek letter side of the house and they're spending some time elsewhere, right? So you should know that there are mechanisms in place to get a sense of where our students are, what they're enjoying and making the most of, the spaces that they're not present in, and then we really dig in to understand their whys and to ensure that access isn't the barrier to that. Choice sometimes is, and that's okay too.
I'd also love to add, Devon, that was fantastic and thorough. I really appreciate that. I'd also like to add that as the parent and family resource office, we will often get like a family outreach email to parents at pitt.edu, parents with an S at pitt.edu, that their student is feeling those anxious, lonely feelings. And could we sort of anonymously have someone check on them? And yes, we have those mechanisms in place that their RA will check on them, maybe even their RD, that professional staff member is going to check on them. And they're going to make it feel really natural. That's what they're trained to do. And we'll make sure it wasn't like your mom emailed. We're not, right? We're not going to do that. I promise. I know sometimes as you're emailing, you may feel that way, like, oh, I'm emailing about my college student, but we get lots of those. We're ready for them. And yes, please use us as that so that I can touch base with Devon and my colleague Amanda and we're going to get that outreach from their peer, not necessarily from another like older adult. I'm not calling us old on the screen, but we're not college students, but we'll make sure they get outreach from those college students. That's a good question.
Thing that I would add there is I've always had the philosophy that um, not that there's no problem we can't fix, but there's no problem that we can't help to solve if we know about it. And so, again, I think that big piece is just talking to someone, telling someone that whether there's a struggle or an issue, because if we know about it, then we can really set some things in motion to help. So we'd rather know and then, see if everything's okay than not know.
Wonderful. Any other questions? A reminder that the recording will be on the Pitt Student Affairs YouTube channel, but you can always email any of us. We'd love to touch base. I know this team would love to talk about the work that they do. The chat has two of the links that Lynn mentioned if you want to grab those before we end. But yeah, conversation doesn't have to stop at 12:40. We are here for you. I am going to stop the recording.